What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode. It's been a hot minute of this Ain't Your Ordinary podcast with your girl, your host, your cousin, your niece, your auntie, your sister. Well, I ain't nobody auntie. Hold on. But I know. I don't even want to manifest it now. No, absolutely not. Um, it's me, man, Rissa G. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Life has lifed. I have so much for y'all. Um, so many stories, but as for right now, I will put those on the back burner. I'm recording this on November 4th, the day before elections day. Trying to bring you guys like an election special. My goal is to edit and put this out by tomorrow. I have many thoughts. I will share in a second. But how are y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Are y'all staying hydrated? The weather here in New York has been a roller coaster. Like we went from last time we spoke, it was in the dead of summer. I don't even know if I had AC back then. Okay. Since then we celebrated our 2-year pod anniversary. Woohoo! Confetti, confetti, confetti. It's been 2 years. It's been amazing doing this. I am grateful that I'm even able to do this through all of life's transitions. Like I don't know who am I, like where did that come from, but life's transitions. When I started the pod, I was going into a master's program. Now I sit before you as a licensed master social worker. Woohoo, confetti, confetti, confetti. So like life has had many transitions with this pod, but still somehow by God's grace, I'm still here doing something that I really love and cherish. It is a lot. And the older you get, it seems like free time becomes truly a commodity. So I'm just blessed and grateful that I even have the opportunity and the ability to still come, to still prep, and have these conversations with you guys, man. I'm gonna keep doing my best. Like it's not as much as I would want to, but I, even on days where I'm like, man, I think I'm just gonna give up. Like I think I'm just gonna like maybe just give up the pod. Like it's a lot. Like I keep coming back because I feel like I don't know. I feel a call to this, a draw to this. I feel like God has graced me for this. I feel like He has given me talents for this, and this is something I want to continuously work and train. So I'm gonna keep coming back, even if it's months, even if it's 4 months, even if it's 6 months, even if it's a year. I'm gonna keep coming back to something that I love and care about, and I put a lot of time and work into. And maybe that can be an encourage. I don't know. That's that felt like a word for somebody, huh? Like, cause lives, and sometimes you feel like you have to give up the things you love, the things bring you joy, even if they're hard work, if they're taxing, right? And I think the encouragement in that is that you're not alone. Other people are going through life, and something I thought about the other day, like even when life doesn't pause, right? Like life is happening, but life doesn't stop happening. So it's almost an encouragement to you, like, listen, life is life, and that doesn't mean you should give up your dream. That doesn't mean you should give up something you care about. That doesn't mean you should give up, even if it's like a shot in the dark or a risk. Like, don't give up. Keep going back to it. Take your time, go at your speed. Yeah. Because it's just rewarding. It's rewarding. Like, even if this podcast reaches one person, 10 people, 100 people, how many ever people, I feel like I'm having meaningful conversations from like your everyday perspective, and I think that's fruitful, and can be encouraging for other people in everyday life to have these conversations. But yeah, so let's get to it, man. There's so many things that has happened. What just came to mind is this dude, Trump, and the assassination attempt. Let me write that down. I forgot to write that down. So for this pod, I really want to be clear on where I stand, the perspectives that I'm going to be giving, and my expectation, or maybe what your expectation should be of me. This pod is not to tell you how to vote, because by the time this pod airs, maybe this worked out for the best. By the time this pod airs, you would have most likely already voted. Like yeah, I forgot what time the polls closed, but most likely most people who watch this pod would have already voted. This pod is not, I am not campaigning for either candidate. I am sharing my perspectives on them as individuals, as them as candidates. It kind of seems like the two are one at this point. On this country, on the idea of voting, I'm gonna be transparent. I don't care for either candidates. I don't like either of them. I think they're both gonna do harm to our country. And I think at this point, this pod is also going to be my journey with politics and my journey with this country as a whole, and some things I've had to reconcile. I'm going to bring all of that up. And one thing I can also say before I go in on each candidate is I am really struggling, I think, as a person, but also as a Christian, to not judge people on who they vote for. It's a hard thing. It's a very hard thing when you see, and I'm going to go into both candidates, right? I get why people are voting for Kamala. I don't like her. I don't think she is what people have made her out to be. I don't think she is a savior. I don't think she's going to come and ignite our communities and uplift us and help us the way she has said to get votes, right? I think she's a monster as well in her own right, regardless of how she presents as, whatever she's presenting herself as. But what Donald Trump represents, what his entire identity embodies. This is not just his political campaign, right? Like, this is who this man is on the daily. This is whom this man has always presented himself to be. It's really hard to think that people will look at who this man is on the daily, not just as a politician, but as a man, and vote for him. So I'm struggling with the idea of, man, like, is there nothing this man can say and do that will get you to pause and think? And I'm not speaking to white America. I absolutely am not. White America, you can sit this one out, okay? I'm not. They see themselves in him. To the white conservatives, white Christians who vote for him, not all do, but to the ones that do, they see themselves in him. They see their legacy in him. I'm speaking to the blacks and the Latinos, okay? The immigrants. And I'm gonna hit y'all with the I got a black friend, okay? I'm gonna hit y'all with that. I am a child of immigrants, okay? Most of my friends are immigrants, okay? I am within the world of immigrants, okay? I've seen it all, okay? So that I'm sorry, I'm gonna use that card when I go there because I got to go there. So somebody got to say it. So why not me? Okay. So anyway, I'm struggling. I'm really not typically a judgmental person, but it's like, my God, at some point, can we look at someone's character and say, man, like, beyond what I think and have been deceived into believing that you can do for me politically, who are you as a man? And you know what? But anyway, I in my notes, I'm not starting this, so I'm gonna follow my notes. But anyway, so I'm gonna start on Miss Auntie. Hey, Auntie. Ain't that what she referred to herself as? like at this point, American politics. No, my beanie trying to run away. But at this point, American politics is a joke. It's a joke, right? Like this Asian politician is cosplaying as somebody's neighborhood auntie, huh? Miss, huh? You ain't never been black before. Now you black. And listen, don't get me wrong. I knew less about her in 2020 than I do now. In 2020, I thought she identified as black because this is something that we're going to see throughout this entire pod and throughout this country. Beware of narratives. If you don't go and look and do your own research into information, you will be deceived. Point blank, period. There are lies. They're just flat out lies that we've been told, but because they've been pushed as the general truth, we've accepted them as truth. So now we have Kamala, who has been harsh on the black community when she was an attorney general and when she was a senator, right? So we have her pushing this narrative that she is pro us when she has like literally never been, and that she is one of us when she literally has never been. But she's doing what all politicians do. She's pandering to the audience that isn't voting for her, which I believe as of right now is black men. So she has to pander. So she's going on Shannon's podcast, Shannon Sharp's podcast, talking about aunties here. Girl, y'all wanna make me cuss. Huh? Aunties who? She's going to the Kojic conference. I don't know. Black church in Detroit. Bishop Sheard is the overseer of it. And she's going and she's... Kamala, stop it. Kamala, stop it. Stop it. Like, she is putting on blackface and parading around black communities trying to get this vote. She is working hard for this vote. She got what's the girl name? Glorilla talking about huh? And listen, I'm not coming for Glorilla. This is not about Glorilla. God bless you, Gloria, hallelujah, okay? However, I am coming for the fact that she's using you to get the young vote, the young black vote. All right. So anyway, I don't like her. like Kendrick, I hate the way she talk. I hate the way she walk. Like I hate the way that I hate it all. Right. And in a more serious tone, like I hate that she is a part of the genocide that is ongoing in Palestine. I refuse to let that go. And I understand that any president or vice president of America in her position would have to be pro-Israel. That doesn't mean I have to stand with you. That's my opinion. That's my take. Everyone can have the opportunity to do what they feel like they want to do, what's best for them, how they want to use their vote. My opinion is I will not be conned. This happened to me in 2020. That was my first presidential vote, and I felt like I was conned into voting for Biden because we all didn't want Trump to vote. And I try not to live with regrets, but I wish I could have that vote back because I feel like if you're gonna vote, the vote ought to count. I'm gonna get to that later. So anywho, I the fact that you can sit back and even as you're going on your own independent presidential campaign, still stand with Israel, talking about you're working for a ceasefire to get all the hostages. The same things y'all have been lying to us and feeding us since October 7th. It's the same thing you're lying and feeding to us now, and I simply cannot stand by that. Okay, and that's just me personally. I can't see what's happening, what started in Palestine, which is now in Lebanon, which is now going to is it Iran? I don't care what people are. Me personally, I don't believe in the death penalty. Maybe that could be another podcast. I don't believe that we as flawed human beings have the right to dictate who lives and who dies. I think that's too much power. That is far too much power. And for us to, like, let's say that the reason that they're letting Israel bomb and kill and murder all these countless people is because they're all terrorists. All of them are terrorists. Who gives Israel the right to play God and annihilate people because they're all terrorists? Now let's flash to the truth. They're not all terrorists. 99.99% of them are not. And I'm sorry, actually 100% of them are not, because I'm not going to call you a terrorist if someone's stepping on your neck and you pushing them off your neck. I'm sorry, you're not a terrorist to me. So you're just murdering innocent people and under the guise of justice, under the guise of, protecting the world from countless. What are you doing? Really, what are you doing? So anyway, I'm not even gonna get too far down that rabbit hole. Y'all know how I feel on that. To be Kamala and to stand by it, to have countless people murdered, to have countless aid workers murdered, journalists have been murdered at a rate higher than I think ever before in an ongoing crisis. Americans have been murdered. That's all. Like, how much more do you need to know? You're not safe internet. You're not even, as a black person, you're not safe really anywhere in the world, much less in America. But you sure ain't safe overseas. Just know that the U.S. government do not have your back. Period. And that's what Kamala has shown. So anyway, I cannot stand her. I cannot stand the argument for her. Again, I'm understanding of it. I get it. You do what's best for you. You feel like you feel like this is your best anti-Trump caution actions. Like, this is what you have to do to prevent Trump from becoming president. That's fine. But we said the same thing about Joe Biden. And when's the last time you seen Joe? We said the same thing about Joe. Kamala is not our savior. Like, have you really Googled her and Google her platform and look at her positions? They're generic as hell. They're mad generic. She's literally just trying to put under most of her positions. It's here is how this counters what Trump is doing. Like, she's not really presenting an alternative or a better solution. Her solution to the immigrant crisis is to create a new system for immigrants. Her solution for protecting civil liberties is to protect civil liberties. She's not your savior. She's not morally better. I want to be clear. Again, if that's your vote because you feel like you have to vote, I get it. I really do. She presents herself as a stereotypical politician. So it's very easy to fall into her trap. If you don't do enough research on her history, if you don't do enough research on what she's done now in these last 4 years, of who she is today, it's easy to say, we have to vote for her because she's the alternative to Trump. I get it. I do. And I don't want to come. I hope I'm not coming up as self-righteous. I don't think I am, but these are my opinions, and I'm like, I get it. Like, I struggle to not judge those people too. Honest to God, like, that's just me. Because I'm sorry, both of y'all. Again, here we come with the language of we have to pick between the two evils. Evil is evil. Let me tell you, sin is sin. Evil is evil. Period. Okay, so whatever. Yeah. So that's my take on Kamala. Take from that what you want. I need somewhere. I might have to blur the brand out. I don't want y'all to see. Had to get a sip of water. Had to. On to Trump. On to Donald J. Trump. Where do I begin? Where does one begin here? Maybe let's start with the deception, right? Donald Trump's platform is not new, right? I don't know if to some people I'm breaking news and to some people's like, I already know that. I don't know. but I just want to reiterate it. Donald Trump basically copied and pasted Ronald Reagan's entire campaign, the slogans, everything. I think Ronald was he from 80 to 84, I believe. So y'all can Google, put it in the comments. So Ronald, I forgot the specifics, but essentially with Ronald Reagan, he had a specific platform, I think, that wasn't working, or he was about to start running and he needed a platform. I can't remember how he came into pushing this platform, but the whole goal of his platform was to appeal to Southern white Christians, to take explicit racism out and push abortion laws, I forgot other types of laws that were pro Southern white Christians, right? Like that, his whole appeal was for that specific group of people. Does that remind you of somebody? So Donald Trump's whole platform is a copy and paste, right? Okay, let's start there. Do you guys understand, the people who are voting for him, that y'all are really standing by as he says foolishness, and you are doubling down with it. This man says Haitians are eating cats, which is something he got from a Facebook post, which the author of said it was a joke, or she made it up, or she was just trying to be funny. So he took from a Facebook post that wasn't even verifiable information and said it. Okay, y'all are used to it, right? Do you know that there are Trump supporters who are doubling down on it, even though the lady said it's untrue? The lady said what she posted was untrue, but Trump supporters are saying, but nah, it still be happening. Where? You are doubling down. You are doubling down on foolishness. You are letting this man spew lies that is harmful to multiple communities. Like, you don't care? You don't care? You think it's okay to now put on a people group, this new immigrants already struggle with so many stigmas and stereotypes. So now you're gonna put a new thing on this people group, which is based off of a lie. And you're just standing by him no matter what. Is there nothing he can say or do that will get you to open your eyes and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't vote for a man who's been accused of sexual assault? Maybe I shouldn't, vote for a man who's convicted of fraud. Maybe his character should at some point matter. Y'all really believe in his positions and believe everything he said to be gospel when this man has been deceiving everyone from the beginning, and I'm a victim of it. I am not immune to it. I remember years ago, I think it's probably 2016, when he was running against Hillary, when he was running the first time. And the narrative is he's a great businessman. I believe that for years. Come to find out, this man he broke like me on you. He's not good with money. He's not a great businessman. He was on, I believe, The Apprentice. That was the show he was on. And the showrunner said, he's not a good businessman. We just promoted him as such for the show. So the reason countless Black people and immigrants and Latinos are voting for this man is based on the fact that he can take the money you don't have and multiply it. That he's going to tax breaks and he's going to move the economy and you're going to benefit. Well, now that you know he is not in fact a good businessman, now what you going to do? Now what's the play? Because I know y'all have seen it, but false rumor. Oh, so that's a false rumor, not the actual false rumors? Do you see how this is lunacy? Y'all are all off y'all rockers. Respectfully. And I'm trying not to judge, but it seems a bit ridiculous at this point. Yeah, Beanie's just trying to run away. But it seems a bit ridiculous, no? This, like, how many people does he have to offend? And again, what this man says is not just like it blows by in the wind as though he never said it. His words have impact as per January 6th if you need some evidence. You got comedians or whoever, I mean, you're not really a comedian if you're not funny, but whatever, coming out and saying Puerto Rico is a pile of trash and that black people were carving watermelons. So he's continuously, explicitly racist. I'm sorry, you brought that man out. You knew what he was going to say. You were okay with it. I mean, he said like racist things himself. How many times are we gonna let this man spew lies that creates like stigmas on people groups and be okay with it? He is anti-immigrants. Just because he didn't specifically come for Guyanese immigrants, I'm sorry, I'm coming for you guys. Or African immigrants, right? Just because he didn't come for certain immigrants or from certain places doesn't mean he's for y'all. Do you guys get that? He's not pro-immigrants. If he's coming for Mexican immigrants, he's coming for all immigrants. If he's coming for Haitian immigrants, he's coming for all immigrants. But this is a problem with people. Just because he doesn't explicitly call your name, that means it doesn't the plight doesn't exist. He don't mess with immigrants. So as an immigrant, to give him your vote is ridiculous. Truly. It's silly, it's foolish, and it's a waste of a damn vote, respectfully. And it doesn't make sense. You don't have money, no offense, to begin with. What money is he multiplying? He's not God. Like, what are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? And this leads me to the idea of like, bro, for both of these candidates, but I'm sorry, but a bit more for Trump, but for both of them, character has got to matter at some point. It has got to be a factor in how we vote. It simply got to be. It cannot be which evil villain should I vote for this time. At some point, character has to matter. Someone recently told me something very, very wise, but how applicable is it? They told me that we have to hold politicians to a standard. Otherwise, they'll do whatever. Well, we don't do that. I don't know the last time politicians were held to a standard. We were definitely not allowed to vote then. Politicians, like, we are letting anything pass. We are letting anything stand. And that's why any and everything can take place in this country. No matter who is president, the same things are going to happen federally. Because I'm not going to talk locally because presidents don't really have a lot, except that you have Haitians being attacked and assaulted. Whoa, well, why all of a sudden? Anyway, federally speaking, not much is going to... My brothers and sisters are still in chains in prison. Right? Put there as a new form of slavery. They went from slavery, they went to Jim Crow, and then they went to mass incarceration. These aren't myths. These aren't like folk tale. It's truths. These are people's lives, right? Those brothers and sisters don't even have rights. Treated as less than, as inhumane. How many things that we use on the daily is made in prison? They're making how many cents a week for what they're doing? Being mistreated, abused, neglected, murdered, raped. That's happening in this country, bro. How many people with all of the not the storms, the hurricanes and all the natural disasters that happen in Florida, in the Carolinas, and all those countries? Did you see how your government treated those people? Me personally, I don't discriminate. I believe that every person should be cared for. I believe that you pay tax dollars for a reason. I don't mind paying tax dollars if it makes a difference in my community. Look how the federal government treated those people who lost their house, who lost their houses, but somehow they lost their land. The land was still there, but somehow they didn't have access to it no more. Right? Taking your tax dollars and going and committing genocides overseas. This one, your tax dollars and murdering innocent people on death row. These are federal things that are happening. Poverty is still high. People are still hungry. Right? People still can't afford houses. Right? People gotta work 2-3 jobs to provide for their families. These things are still happening. And at some point, the character of who we're voting for has to matter. Because if you don't respect the life of another, why am I supposed to expect that you're going to respect the life of mine? The life of people like me. Historically speaking, the American government is not pro anyone but black heterosexual men. I'm talking about black. White heterosexual men. That is who they are pro. Period. White women, you might be an afterthought. So I'm supposed to believe that a government that was created for and by white men, all of a sudden, because I voted, is now going to take into consideration me, the black woman? Why? What have you shown me? What have you shown me to make me think that you care about anybody but yourselves? But black people, you just care about the agenda of the government. Whatever benefits the United States. But who pays taxes? How can I hold politicians to a standard when we as a society, we believe so much in the voting system that if a dog and a cat got up there, we will vote for it? At some point, it has to stop making sense. It just simply has to. And listen, I understand the idea, especially for black people, especially for minorities in general, I think. The idea that people died for us to have the right to vote. And it would be dishonoring their legacy to not vote. I understand you. And that's a fair argument. I will push back and say that people died for me to have the right to vote. Then this is something that I've had a journey on, because that was me. Man, y'all gotta vote. Come on, bro. People die for us. That's true. And also, upon reflection and upon walking that journey out, man, I think they died for us to have the right to sit and contemplate who is voting and who is worth my vote. Your vote gotta matter. Your vote has to matter. And me personally, not you, not anyone else, me, I believe it's dishonoring their legacy if I go and vote for idiots. I go and vote for it's not even about being Christian. It's not about that for me. I'm a Christian, but it's not about being Christian. It's about right and wrong. Plainly. And the idea that I have to compromise that in American politics, I don't want to. I simply do not want to. I'm okay with some positions not aligning with my beliefs, but morally speaking, I cannot stand with someone who is okay with genocide, who is okay with further oppressing and marginalizing their own people in Kamala and pushing them into the criminal justice system, which does not care for them, does not reform them, does not rehabilitate them, but takes them, recreates them, and spits them out into a community that is not accepting of them, and then they end up right back in there. So now you're furthering a cycle, because that's what recidivism is. And I cannot be okay with a candidate such as Donald Trump, who, I mean, like, did I say more? A racist, bigot, sexist, rapist, potentially, like, allegedly, a fraud? How many things has this man done and encouraged and been a part of? And I'm supposed to take the vote that people died for me to get on these people? Why? I don't want to. If you haven't guessed, I'm not voting. I'm just not. And I'm not trying to influence you to vote for either or don't vote. That is your personal choice. I am saying I don't think it makes sense anymore. I think the last time voting really made sense and really mattered was probably hundreds of years ago. Where this country is, Republican, Democrat, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. I don't think our votes matter anymore. I don't. You have people saying Kamala's positions are more conservative than Donald Trump's, but it doesn't matter. Oh, you're worried about Project 2025? I'm worried about Cop City that's being built in Queens, that's being built in Atlanta, where they're going to train cops on a mass level. I'm worried about that, and that's happening under this administration. Like, no matter who is president, the United States has its agenda, and it does not favor me and most likely you. It just doesn't. And it's really not a black thing. It's not a minority thing. It's an all of us thing. And once y'all really start to understand that, it's really when power becomes a thing we all wield. Like, really? Democrat, Republic, red, blue, it's all to cause division and chaos. All of it. It's all really to cause me to judge you and you to judge me and me to hate you and you to hate me. Yeah. That's what it's for. Because once this country remains divided, it will always be easily manipulated. We cannot achieve true liberation if we're all fighting each other. We are doing the easy work for them. It's not a black person problem that I'm talking about. It never has been. Poverty is not just a black person problem. Racism is not just a black person problem. Discrimination of it's not about the one group, but the power and the goal of white supremacy is to have us looking over here as they're doing everything over there. So anyway, now some may say, if there's no value in voting, why do they try to stop us from voting? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I really don't. Now I can only speculate it's because I feel like they stop us from doing everything. They just do. They don't want us involved in anything. Because the country was not created for that. So whether voting has power or not, in my opinion, I don't think it does. They don't want us to feel like we're equal to them. When we were making our communities and we were empowering ourselves and staying in, like, keeping to ourselves and keeping to our bubbles, they wiped all those successful black communities out. Why? They don't want us to feel equal. They don't want us to feel empowered. So those are my thoughts on that. I think if every election year there is a constant spirit of division and a constant spirit of chaos, at some point we have to come to the realization that maybe this isn't a coincidence. Maybe this country is divided because that's the only way that they can conquer us. Maybe if voting is all we're doing to change the country, I mean, I'm just being, can I be honest on my pod? I don't feel like voting empowers us as the everyday citizen. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Because these presidents are going to do them and do what's best for them. And if it's a first-term president, they're just working hard so they can get a second term. And if it's a second-term president, they're just working hard to create a legacy that they feel like they can look back and enjoy and be proud of. America is overseas doing countless inhumane things. And they got all these issues in this country. They're using me and you tax dollars and going overseas and doing countless atrocities, bro. But they're not focused on here. They're not. Because they're like, if they were to ever put all their focus into building this country, who knows what it would look like? But anyway, I will always feel like division is the constant enemy of liberation. And I think until we realize that, until we realize, like, man, voting really matter? Does voting really have an impact? Is there a difference between these parties? Until we come to that point, like, listen, and I get Project 2025. I get it. I do. I've read it. I get it. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm under the belief government gonna do what the government gonna do. Wasn't no Project 2025 when they was testing all these new medical practices and all these different things on black folks. There was no Project 2025 when they were, whipping us and keeping us in chains, right? Like, there wasn't no Project 2025 when all of these illegal things were legal. There wasn't a Project 2025 when black folks and white folks couldn't go to school together, couldn't go anywhere together. Like, there wasn't Project 2025 when war on drugs happened and it was really a war on our black men in our communities. There wasn't no Project 2025 when redlining occurred. And I don't want to say, I'm going to blame every single issue on every single thing that has been done to black folks. However, and it's all connected. It's all connected. It's all connected. It wasn't no Project 2025 doing that. And it wasn't just Republicans doing that. We're not even going to talk when Republicans and Democrats flip-flop their stances. We're not even going to talk about that. So I can't just sit here and say, oh my God, I'm scared of Project 2025. Oh my Lord, what will happen? I've seen it happen to us already. It has happened. We're not even considering what happened to indigenous people. Where are they? Where are they being represented? Look at what this country did to them. Again, at some point, character has to matter. And this country was built on discriminatory systems that are in place and foundational to this day. So no, I don't think voting makes a difference. No, I don't think who sits in that house, whoever family is in that White House, I don't think it makes a difference. Black, white, gay, straight. I don't think it makes a difference. Why? Because all of these foundational systems that keep this country going are discriminatory. They were made by white people for white people. Where does that leave us? I'm not going to say it. I've said enough. I've said too much. And I'm pro-abolition. I'm slavery was abolished, right? Like, I'm pro-abolishing discriminatory policies and systems in this country, right? I'm pro that. But we would have to abolish and recreate every single system. Like, the entire criminal justice system has to be redone. Killed right now. This version has to be done. And we have to create something new. And that's for every system. Because it's not broken. Change your language, because your language creates the narrative. And the narrative is what we all believe. It's not broken. It's working effectively to be discriminatory, because it was never for anyone but white, straight males. So, yeah, I have no real solutions. There aren't really any. Abolition is an option, but you have to undo every single system, and at that rate, it will be hundreds and hundreds of years. You're going to be in court litigating things, going to have to install new policies, create probably new amendments. I don't know. This isn't a solution oriented conversation. It's an awareness conversation. It's let me set my expectations, because there was one point in time where I did policies was the track I did from my, social work degree. I love the idea of policies. I love the idea that legislation can influence and change things. I do. And there was a point in time where I felt like policies really could reshape and redefine this country, and to a degree they can, but not to the degree we need it to. I think the only solution is rooted in true unity and reconciliation. I don't think we want to hear that, but that's the truth. I think I think that once we come together as a people group, I think that's what made Martin Luther King dangerous. I think that's what made Malcolm X dangerous. I think the idea of different people from different backgrounds coming together and uniting for the same cause in this country, I think that is the greatest weapon we can have to the current systems in place. And I think that's the hardest thing really to achieve. Because we're also angry, right? We're also angry for so many different reasons. And some of them are justified and some of them aren't, right? Like some white people are angry, right? Because they feel like their rights are being infringed on, but really that's them feeling insecure about their white privilege. Because if they see any other gaining even a sense of empowerment, remember, they don't like to see others be empowered. Hence January 6th, there's no way I voted as a white person and it's almost like it didn't count. Can't be. Gotta flip the tables. Right? And then black people are justifiably so angry because damn, why they all damn, like, oppressed, marginalized, trauma, cycles, your daddy, like all, like, right? So we're all angry and we hate each other. Ain't no reconciliation be? What? Reconciliation? Right? And this is, and I'm wrapping it up because I'm hungry. I gotta go to work early. Like, but I think it's really hard to heal when there are ongoing inflictions on that wound. It's a really hard thing. It's a really, really hard thing. And you anger sometimes is a reaction to like protecting yourself from when you're hurting. And the black community can't even really have time to heal because there's always ongoing plights. And it's like, man, even if I didn't want to lash out, even if I didn't want to be so angry, I feel like I have no other choice because I can't even like run in a corner and lick my wounds. There's always something ongoing. And I think that's part of the problem as well. And it's almost like a cycle, like one begets the other because, well, the systems in place produces discrimination, right? And discriminatory practices. And that goes on the local level. Now, locally speaking, I'm discriminated against in a multitude of ways, but I'm trying to heal my generational traumas and my generational wounds that stem from redlining or stem from my father being taken to jail for a little bit of weed, right? Like, and now I didn't grow up with him in my home, but like that was generations ago. So now you're dealing with maybe your mother's trauma. And so it's like coming from so many different ways. And it's like, my God, I can't even pause and clean up this wound or clean up my mother's wound or clean up whoever's wound because as a black man in a hoodie, I could get shot in the street. I could be mistakenly identified as a rapist. I can go to jail for years on years because someone simply said I did it. So it's a very, very difficult conversation to have, and it's not an easy thing at all. It's not an easy thing to do, and I'm saying I think that's the answer. I have no idea in this very moment how we get there. No idea whatsoever. Because everyone's hurting. Everyone's hurting. And then you deal with white people who are like kind of understanding and seeing their privilege and the generational pain caused by people who look like them. And them, I'm sorry. I was in the master's, a social work program. And dear God, them reconciling that fact is it's an irritating process to be around. I am sorry. The white guilt. Oh God, please. I love my white brothers and sisters. I do. I love you guys. And also, it's an irritating thing to experience live. Please keep that between you and your therapist. Please do not bring your baggage to the classroom. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you process out loud how you're reconciling with your privilege. I don't care for it. I'm sorry. I leave my business in my therapist's room. Why you gotta bring yours? Anyway. Now I'm just spiraling. Just giving you guys thoughts. But yeah, like that's where my mind is at, guys. And that's where my heart is at. But yeah, like the election is tomorrow. I'm really curious to see who wins. I have no real expectation either way. Simpson said Kamala's gonna win, so Kamala probably gonna win. And I guess I can only hope that whoever wins, that we will continuously evaluate ourselves and our hearts and our intentions and our character, regardless of who's president. Like, check ourselves on an individual level. Try to heal on the individual level. Try to see this country for what it is from your perspective, right? And then try to reconcile it, your perspective, with the reality of the matter. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, y'all know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all for enjoying me on this was really fun. A nice, good ramble. Got a lot of energy out. Y'all finna come for me, huh? I can't for everybody today, so I don't know what you can do, man. I might have some sports conversations coming soon to you guys. Some other short clips maybe. But I love you guys, man. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. Yeah, that's it. Peace. What's up, y'all? Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of that. Help your girl out. Share it to your auntie. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here doozies. Peace.